Welcome back to another episode of No Niche Zone, the podcast about everything. I am your host, Priscilla Davies, and yeah, we got a new angle today. Yeah, you see me? Yeah, Corey, my engineer, with the best eyes in the business, was like, you know what? I just rock with me here, and Corey, you were right. Look at this. You guys get to see me a whole new way. So we're, as usual, I have a million things to talk about and I never stop, can't stop, won't stop. So, but before we get into the actual show today, I have to let y'all in on a little tea, a little drama, y'all. Y'all, we are on episode 6 and I am already in trouble. I cannot believe. I mean, I don't even think we're at 2 months yet, and I'm already mixed up in some internet drama. So, y'all, a couple weeks ago, episode 4. Okay, I'm in drama off of episode 4. I did a documentary deep dive on the Netflix, documentary called Escaping Twin Flames. Okay. And, I talked about the whole documentary. I talked about all the people in it, et cetera, et cetera. And so one of the people that I talked about in this documentary saw, I don't know, I guess somehow it got back to her and she saw a clip of it on TikTok and oh girl came for me. She came for me. First of all, I know the internet is a small place apparently, but damn, I mean, a fucking op tagged her in my post. And so she wrote some angry comments and then she did a response video to me. Now, this is the actual girl from the documentary Escaping Twin Flames. I'm not going to say her name because I really don't want the smoke. Okay. But I did talk about her and, she was the person who, what was her story? That's right. She went to Twin Flames and they told her that her twin flame, AKA her soulmate, was her ex-boyfriend who had a restraining order against her. If you want to know more about that, go back to episode 4 and listen to my doc deep dive. So, I don't want no smoke with nobody and eventually we find out that she went to jail for a month for violating this restraining order. So I don't want no smoke with nobody who be violating restraining orders. But old girl came for me and she did a reaction video. And, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of it, but I just had to spill a little bit of this tea because I'm like, I like to talk shit, but damn, I can't believe the internet is that small of a place. So hopefully if I ever bring this up again, it's in, jovial retrospect, looking back at the good old days. And it's not because the smoke got smokier, okay? Because one thing about me is if you bring me the smoke, I'm going to bring it back, okay? So let's get into the actual podcast, y'all. So last week, we left off on a documentary deep dive. We ran out of time. And so we're going to pick up where we left off. Obviously, I haven't learned my lesson from the previous documentary deep dive drama I'm in. But I'm sorry. I think that this documentary that we talked about last week is such an important documentary for so many people to watch. And just to recap, so we talked about the documentary called Sin Eater, The Crimes of Anthony Pellicano. It's a New York Times documentary that basically discussed the life and work of Anthony Pellicano, who was a notorious criminal Hollywood fixer. Okay. And we talked about what a fixer is last week. Basically someone who is hired to clean up and cover up Hollywood messes from, lightweight, embarrassing scandals all the way up to straight up illegal activity. And let's keep it real, including, okay, you know what? Murder. Okay. So this guy basically ended up getting arrested because he was doing illegal shit to accomplish this job. And all of this stuff came out about him. And the New York Times did a documentary on basically the deep, dark secrets of him and the secrets that he kept for Hollywood. And last week, we talked about how he was the fixer on the Michael Jackson trial, the Michael Jackson molestation trial from 1993. Now, that was one of the things we talked about, was the fact that nobody knew that Michael Jackson had hired a fixer. They made it seem like, they billed him as a security consultant. Nobody knew that Michael Jackson had hired a fixer on this case, right? That's a huge red flag. Ain't nobody innocent getting mixed up with this criminal to clear their name. Huge red flag. So we talked about it, and, I ended up talking about it on my TikTok as well. And the Michael Jackson stans, oh Lord, they flocked to my TikTok. And they are all in the comments going, I'm going to say here what I said there, which is, y'all, this fool done told us out his own damn mouth that he be sleeping in bed with other people's children's. I get it when people say, well, the FBI this, the CIA that, which, by the way, now we believe in law enforcement. Since when? I thought it was ACAB. I thought it was fuck the police, fuck 12. Since when do we, hello? So I understand that CIA, FBI cleared him, yada, yada, yada. The police cleared him, which, by the way, we know that Pellicano had police on his payroll. Okay? But here's what you cannot undo, is the fact that man told us out his own damn mouth. It was not an investigation. It was not a leak. It was not a discovery. He told us. And one thing about abusers and narcissists, they do that shit in plain fucking sight, and they get off on it. We talked about Diddy and Cassie last week. Diddy I'm sure he got off on parading this girl around town, knowing what he was doing to her behind closed doors, and knowing that some industry insiders knew what he was doing to her behind closed doors. They get off on that. Michael Jackson had these little boys on tour. How are you taking a little boy on tour with you? What? Holding hands like they're a couple. So much other stuff. I mean, I found out that Aaron Carter slept at Michael Jackson's house, and in his posthumous memoir talked about how he was chilling with Michael Jackson. It got late. They were in his room, and Michael pulled out a ready-made cot. And why do a grown man got a ready-made cot for some little boys to sleep on in his room? Come on, guys. It's right in our face. He pulled out a ready-made cot. Oh boy, Aaron Carter went to sleep. He went to his bed. Everything was quote, quote, normal. And in the middle of the night, something wakes, this is from his memoir, something woke Aaron up, which to me says he don't want to say what the hell woke him up. But something woke him up, and he found Michael Jackson sitting at the foot of his cot in tighty whities. And Michael Jackson appeared to be sleepwalking. And Aaron goes, what the fuck? And shook him and said, go back to your bed. And he goes, oh, okay, and gets up and goes back to his bed. And when Aaron wakes up the next day, he's gone. He never mentions it. They never talk about it, ever. Swept it under the rug. It's right in our faces, guys. The whole, narrative of him not having had a childhood, and that's why he does, we find out that Anthony Pellicano was part of building that narrative. We got. And and this is something I said on my TikTok as well. Most of us were kids. Some of us weren't even born yet. Most of us were kids, and our elders were drinking the Kool-Aid, so we had no chance. But now we're adults, and we got to bring our adult brain to it. And some of us are even parents. And I know for damn sure you're not letting your kids sleep in no grown man's bed. Some people say, oh, kids were sleeping on the floor. You gonna let your kids sleep on the floor in a grown man's bedroom? Of course you're not. But when it comes to Michael, somehow it's totally okay. I don't even know how we got, I mean, I know how we got on that tangent, but I want to get into the actual rest of this documentary because this other part, we got into it last week. I previewed a little bit, which was the Chris Rock conversation that was recorded. So if you want to find out the background on Anthony Pellicano, go back to the previous episode. But we find out that after Anthony Pellicano was arrested, you know, the FBI, everybody raids his stuff, and he was recording his conversations, of course, you know. That way he can have something to hold over these motherfuckers' heads if they ever try to turn on him, you know? So he's recording these conversations, and one of the conversations that they talk about in the documentary is a conversation between him and Chris Rock. I'm gonna play this shit, and I want you to just listen.
Example of how Pellicano would operate.
The first one that comes to mind is the Chris Rock recording.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Chris Rock, he was married at the time, and he was at the Four Seasons with a friend, and they ended up picking up 2 women, and he ended up sleeping with one of them. This woman is now claiming to have Chris Rock's baby. She's also alleging that he forced himself on her.
Steven called me this morning.
Yeah?
The file.
Oh, I want to hear.
Anthony starts off by telling him that he has gotten the police report.
I'm going to read this to you. I'm not supposed to have this thing. Do you understand that?
Right.
I'm not supposed to have this thing, but I got it.
Nobody knows.
See, any rape victim is confidential. You can't get it. There's no record of it. You understand?
So let's pause there real quick. You hear what Anthony Pellicano says in this conversation? He has access to this rape victim's files, her police files, that he's not supposed to have access to, that according to him is supposed to be confidential. And as we learn towards the end of the documentary, that Anthony Pellicano has police on his payroll, LAPD and Beverly Hills PD on his payroll. So already, shit is sus, okay? This is what they don't tell you when they tell you that these women plead out, that they were being harassed like this, having their confidential files being accessed illegally by a Hollywood fixer. And they were using the information that they get in this to discredit these people, to smear them, and to encourage them, intimidate them, I should say, to drop their case. Let's continue.
Chris Rock might not have broken any laws by listening to this or responding to this or using it in his defense, but certainly what the tape shows is that he raised no objection to being told, I'm not supposed to have this, let's change your story.
I've been so set up. God.
What I need to know from you, honey,
what do you need to know?
Did you come on her thighs? You said you had a rub on it, brother.
I had a rubber on. I probably took it off right when I was getting ready to come. Probably came on her ass.
So, you got to change your story now.
We have somebody.
Let me pause it right there. Y'all heard what he said? He recounts the whole story. Oh, you probably. Nigga, you know what you did. Oh, I probably pulled the rubber. You know what you did. And what does Pellicano say to him after all that? Well, you know we got to change the story now. But why would the story change if you're telling the truth? And you hear Chris Rock being like, oh my God, I can't believe this. This was such a setup. How was it a setup that a married man went to a hotel room with a woman? That was a setup. Did you get drugged and wake up in a hotel room? Because I don't think that's what went down. As usual, these powerful men, they don't take any responsibility for their behavior. It's the same story it's always a setup. It's always a shakedown. It's always extortion. But we got to change the story.
with means and power who's able to employ somebody like Anthony Pellicano, playing the system to their own benefit. It's a total imbalance of power.
The wonderful thing about this is that the police department didn't believe her.
I'm just, once, you're accused of rape, it's just fucked. You're just fucked.
I know, that's why I want to blacken this girl up totally.
You are just
Do you understand?
fucked.
Yeah, I know, but I want to make her out to be a lying scumbag, manipulating cocksucker. That's what I want.
Did you hear that shit? Did you hear that shit? First and foremost, he goes, the wonderful thing is that the police didn't believe her. Why would Popo ever believe a rape victim? Because she accused Chris Rock of rape, not just fathering her baby, but rape. Why would Popo ever believe a rape victim? That part got me so much, because that's the same damn story that we hear over. This is why when people say, why don't you go to the cops? Because they don't fucking believe you. When they say, why didn't you say something? Because motherfuckers like you be asking, why didn't you say something? Because you don't want to believe people. You're the people that make people not want to speak up. And what does he say? I'm just, what's Chris Rock's response? He's not even paying attention. He's so swept up in his own self-pity. I'm just, once you're accused of rape, you're just fucked. You're fucked. Okay, dog. And what does this motherfucker, Anthony Pellicano, say? I know. That's why I want to blacken this girl up totally. First of all, they always got to come with these microaggressions. Why you got to blacken her up? Why you got to say that to a black man? It's these white people. What's your fucking problem, man? Why? He just had to say that to this black man. I'm going to blacken her up. These are the types of microaggressions we be talking about, white people, and we be saying you be getting on our damn nerves. But also it conjures up images of violence. Because when do you get blackened up? When you get beat the hell up, right? Black and blue. And he says, I want to make her out to be a lying scumbag, manipulating cocksucker. That's what I want. Notice he didn't say, I want to prove her to be that. No, he's not. He wanted to make her out to be. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down here? Are you smelling what I'm stepping in? Okay? That's what they do. They discredit you. They destroy your reputation. They do a smear campaign against you so that you are intimidated into dropping the charges. Or conversely, the public turns on you, which we see happen all the time. I should just mention that Chris Rock denied any wrongdoing, was never charged with any crime. A DNA test later found that